Good evening, everybody, and welcome to In Conversations with Miss Ericka J. with my special guest, Jonathan Nelson. Now, since the interview, Jonathan has released the original live in Baltimore a few days ago, and in addition to that, celebrate its 22nd wedding anniversary. Congratulations to you and Chrissy, Jonathan. I'm so glad you guys tuned in. The interview starts now.
Everybody shout with me, say, that's all I believe. Everybody shout with me. That's all I agree. Everybody shout with me, say, that's all I let's go. All things are possible. Everybody shout with me, say, that's all I believe. Everybody shout with me. That's all I agree. Everybody shout with me, say, that's all I let's go. Everybody shout with me, say, that's all I believe. Everybody shout with me. That's all I agree. Everybody shout with me, say, that's all I let's go. All things are possible.
With Miss Ericka J.
Woke up feeling good, but I wanna change. I do. Nothing wrong with the old, but I need something new. Yeah. I jump into my car and I turn on the radio. What is this? And then I hear, let's get into in the mix, in the know, on the show you will hear new and exciting things, yeah. Everything with Miss Ericka J is a guaranteed winner. Don't touch the dial if you know what's good for you. I kept it right there. It feels so good. It was just what I was looking for.
Welcome to In Conversations with Miss Ericka J. And on set today, I have with me my good brother, Jonathan Nelson. And let me tell y'all, this is just a good time to be Jonathan Nelson.
Why is it?
Because Jonathan just reached a milestone in terms of his first project with his group, Purpose.
Yeah,
20 years.
20 years.
Talk about that.
Let's talk about Ericka Johnson real quick, everybody.
Oh my God.
So I've been knowing Ericka since we were teenagers. And this platform, first of all, congratulations. But y'all, when she gets this voice and character, it's so good to me. This is Miss Ericka J.
It's so not, and
Okay,
he gags on my voicemail. He makes me sick.
Yes, okay, so now I switch it so we calm down a little bit. So, yes, so 20 years, you were there.
From the
when we
beginning.
Absolutely. So we recorded, we've been together for 20 years, but we recorded our first project, 2002, June 15, 2002, at CRL. And that was the first time I launched out as it relates to like moving in faith. And not really knowing what to do or what I was doing, I just had a group, I had some songs, and I was just really trying to be heard, but I wasn't trying to be an artist, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
And so this year we just released, of course, our reunion project, and 20 years later we are back together and we're back performing together again.
Because you guys actually started out doing background.
Absolutely. So before we became a group per se, here in the city of Baltimore, we, first of all, it started with Karen Clark-Sheard. She came in, she did to my dad's conference, and then I assembled this group of people together. And every time she came back to town, she enjoyed us so much. And every time we came back to town, she would say, hey, we want you to, do background for us. That turned into an opportunity for me to do Ted and Sherry. Then Ted introduced me, and Wayne Waller introduced me to Donald Lawrence. And that turned into an opportunity to really forge the group. When Donald heard us all together, I think my brother Jason was singing with us at the time, Darian Dennis and so many other people. He said, Jonathan, you really need to keep this group together. It's something special about you guys. You need to keep them together. And that is really when Purpose was officially formed. But we did start doing background singing for everybody that will come to town.
And it's so interesting because even when you speak about your brother, it brought out other gifts. It's
Absolutely.
so much that came out of Purpose.
Right.
I can remember Jason just being a bass player.
Right. And we would pull Jason off of the bass to sing at my dad's church. He would do Stand and a few other songs. Jason was actually singing tenor in Purpose when we first started, but he's now a big artist now. He don't sing anymore. But Jason is part of the beginning, and then John McClure, Mark Britt, they're worship pastors. Trish Perkins, she didn't start originally with us. She came on eventually. She's now serving as I'm going to say worship leader, but she serves as manager and for J.J. Harrison, Travis Green. Juanita is singing with J.J. Harrison. Jimmy is now doing stems with Mo and
And vocal producing for some major people.
Absolutely. So, and Leslie, I don't want to keep calling names, I'm getting in trouble.
But
everybody
I said all that
has
to
kinda
say you've
moved
become a
into-
birthing ground.
Absolutely.
And it's funny that it's almost like everything has come full circle with you, but the other part of that is the fact that I can go on record saying Jonathan Nelson is one of the hardest, most persistent artists ever. You've been through so many transitions with as far as labels and singers. Just talk about that, because I know personally that there were probably times that you really wanted, or you really felt like, okay, let me just do something else.
Absolutely. I think that my dad has always said each victory helps us some other to win. When you're in the storm, you don't feel like it's purposeful, but everything that God does, of course, is strategic and clever. My father really did not build us in a way where we would give up. He built us, as you know, they say, forward tough, so to speak. So I figured out how to maneuver in every situation. So, adjusting with personnel changes with Purpose, sometimes the band, but you got to keep going. If you have purpose inside of you, you got to keep developing, you got to keep pushing. Even from a perspective of different labels, one of the labels folded and I got with another label that didn't work out. I moved to E1, and then now I have a partnership with them. This is the first international record that we've released that is mine, as well as me owning the masters, J-Tunes Music Entertainment, and me owning J-Tunes Music distributed by E1. But I think that for any artist or anybody that has any dreams, anything that they are desiring to fulfill, you can't give up. My father says when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. There's one chapter, the book of your life, so to speak. You have different chapters. And so maybe one chapter didn't end so well, but there's a cliffhanger. And that means that you got to keep reading the book to see what's coming next. And so as we are fulfilling the things in our life, that one chapter closed. Maybe it didn't end well, but I just kept pushing and I kept moving to be at this place now.
And I think that speaks to your persistence in recognizing your call.
Absolutely.
Because in those stints, I've watched you evolve into, like, the Jonathan of 20 years ago is totally different. Like, you've developed so much as an artist, and I have enjoyed watching you grow.
Thank you.
It's been amazing.
I think that, I think a lot of us don't, when you're coming into the awakening of your purpose, some people don't really know what their purpose is, and sometimes you got to start moving into a certain thing, and your purpose will be fulfilled. Like, for example, in Genesis 12:1, God told Abram at the time, he says, get thee out of the place where you are, and I'm going to show you somewhere to go. And of course, this is of course the Abraham, the father of faith. I think the movement of faith without works is dead. I think the movement of faith or should I say me activating my faith as I moved, I didn't really understand, but it was like God was developing what's the word I'm looking for? He was developing a mentor in me to begin to help somebody else get on their journey. Donald Lawrence is my mentor. He says, we become to help others become. So all of those 20 years was a part of my becoming, and I'm still becoming in some ways, right? But now that I've had an awakening of what my purpose really is, now I know that I have to help other people through music fulfill their purpose, their destiny, their dreams, through the songs that God has given me, but also through the young people that God has given me to mentor. It's a lot of, I understand, if this makes any sense, I understand my lane, and I know what I know my voice, if that makes any sense. I know who I'm supposed to speak to. I know what I'm supposed to talk about at this point.
Now, fast forward 20 years, now we are today with the release of the Reunion Project, and it's doing amazing. It has taken wings.
Yes.
With Purpose being your baby, and now you coming back to Purpose. How has that whole experience been?
You know, the level of appreciation that I had for them doesn't even weigh in as relates to how I appreciate them now. Because at one point I was closing that part of the chapter of my life to kind of move into more of an single artist kind of a space. And so that journey was quite a different journey as I was closing that chapter. But I told them that was not going to be the end of it. I just didn't know how we were going
Where you were going to go.
And 20 years later, the richness of their singing, the texture of their voices, how they could just find each other, the family style. This record, I feel like it feels like a family reunion. You know, when you go to a family reunion, somebody's cooking on the grill and all that kind of stuff, and there's people are celebrating and whatnot. And I feel like this is like almost like gumbo of a family reunion, if that makes any sense. The way the songs kind of move in and out of each other, the return of the band that I've been recording with for the past 15 years.
It was amazing. I was there.
Absolutely.
It was amazing.
Yeah, so I think, you know, at some point you just kind of realize this is who I'm called to, or this is what I'm called to do. And a part of my past and my present purpose will always be dear to me, and they will always be a part of it. This by far was one of the best projects that I've ever encountered, because it was, I don't know if I would say seamless, but it was, you could just feel God's presence throughout it. But the level of commitment that everybody had towards it, it just worked. And if that makes any sense, it's like it just worked. So I'm very proud of this reunion.
So now that you guys, I don't want to say back together, because I don't really feel like y'all ever left. You
We've
just
always been
kind of,
connected, yeah.
you kind
We
of
just haven't always been
transitioned
together, right.
with your relocation to Florida,
Right.
and then now with you in Atlanta. What's next? Like, how are you feeling about the whole process moving forward? You got to be like all over the place. Like, what do I do?
Well, the interesting thing, Ericka, is I don't know what's next. And that's because we're in a pandemic. You know, COVID-19, it has changed the game, so to speak, for the way that we present ourselves. We can't go on tour. As we
That
just,
would be
like,
amazing.
I
That,
would
oh my
love that.
God.
So, I mean, maybe, you know, in 2021, when things kind of settle.
2025.
We'll see, but you know, I will continue to make music with them, but then I'm also develop a new crew, and we call it the Fearless Crew. It's a younger crew. I'll continue to do things with them, and we might end up doing some things together. I don't really know, but now that I've come into a place of my becoming, it's my responsibility to develop my niece like Jade and JR, and, you know, that crew, and to continue to pour into Purpose and continue to push them into their dreams and their goals, and to keep the family assembled, if that makes any sense.
Because I wanted to touch on that Fearless piece, because I remember when you did the live recording with the Fearless crew, and then you did the Purpose crew.
Right.
And it was like, wow, it was great with Fearless. It was great with Purpose. It was like, Jonathan, like, this is golden.
So I feel like when you, again, I keep talking about becoming, when I came back, we recorded here in Baltimore in 2017, actually. I wanted to offer for the audience two different perspectives, like almost like, if you will, a Jonathan 2.0, and then where I come from. You know what I mean? And I think that people now understand me as not just a songwriter, worship leader. I think people now understand me as a package, if that makes any sense. And I think that that night, people started saying, "Oh, I get it now. I get where he is in his journey." And I feel like anybody that's developing, like we're not just developing for a moment, we're developing for, I guess, a lifetime and a legacy.
Absolutely.
So for me, the Jonathan 2.0, which is fearless, I feel like that is more like my legacy, me pouring back. Our purpose, we grew up together. And but now I feel like I can work both entities, not sure exactly how or when, where or how, but we're just going to figure it out.
I felt like when you were trying to figure out maybe what the single would be from the reunion album, it's like the whole album is a single. It's like, because everybody has their favorite song, so to speak, because it's a history behind it.
Right.
So what would you say is your favorite?
Well, I don't know, because all of the songs
It's hard, right?
But I mean, Manifest is our single strategically, and I'm falling in love with that song all over again. You were at the virtual experience, and you saw how it just kind of took a turn.
Oh yeah.
I now know how to minister that song. That song was bigger than me when God gave it to me. When Donald Lawrence heard it, he was like, "This song is way before its time." I didn't really understand that. I wasn't offended. I just didn't understand what he was saying. I think because he was talking about it just being so deeply prophetic. I think that now the Bible says, "Behold, all things become new," right? So in this season, there are people that there's new inside of them, there's greatness inside of them, and even in a pandemic, you can give birth and prosper. And I'm not talking about financially, but you can also do that.
Right.
But you can give birth to something. Like, for example, my brother wrote a book. There are other people that have books in them. There's business in you. This has been a season we've been resetting, refocusing, but it's also been a time that you should be giving birth to something that you haven't necessarily given birth to. A business, whatever it is. And that song Manifest speaks to that part of the purpose in you. And I think that's why it's more dear to me in this season, because of, I think it's
the timing of it.
The timing of it, yes. And I think when people hear it, it will really help them to develop a deeper side of them. And I'm not necessarily talking about a spiritual side, but that too. But I'm really talking about other things that you should be accomplishing. There should be something awakening on the inside of you. And I'm praying that song will do that. But I think that's probably why it's my favorite in this season, because I will be able to see and experience people's manifestation, whatever that is. If it's a book or if it's a business, that song speaking to people over time. Once we come out of COVID, it's going to be some people say, "Jonathan, I listened to that song, and that song was what helped me give birth to this thing, this promise, or whatever that promise, or that gold book, whatever it is."
Now, one thing, as we're closing out, one thing I want to talk about is the fact that, Jonathan, I've seen you shift rooms. I've seen you in more of a ministry mode with your music now. I've literally watched you become this. I'm like, he got it.
Say that one more time. Huh?
He got it. And like I would always say, Jason just stands up and sings like effortlessly. Like Jason doesn't have to move. He doesn't have to break a sweat. He doesn't have to do anything. But you do all that, and I've seen you you have the power to shift.
I think that, again, after 20 years, I figured it out. Yes, there's ministry in me, but as a worship leader, you learn how to navigate a room. When I first started, I did not know what I was doing. If you listen to that first record, I went back, because incidentally, I'm going to put the first record back out live in Baltimore.
Oh, wow.
I'm talking very little on that record. I was doing mostly conducting. You experienced me as a songwriter, and you experienced what I poured into Purpose, but you didn't experience me as an artist, because I wasn't trying to be one, and I didn't know what to do. Over time, as a worship leader, and as you grow and as you mature in the word or whatever, you have to know how to connect with the people that are in front of you. I don't care if you're at a Seventh-day Adventist church, or Baptist church, Pentecostal church, whatever. You have to say something verbally that will make them not just connect to the song, but connect to you.
Because people are engaged. They are like, I've seen you do it in a funeral setting. I've seen you do it in concerts. It just turns into an experience. It's not just a concert. It's not just you getting up singing. You're literally tapped into whatever needs to change in that moment. That's hard. Some artists just sing.
Well, see, here's the thing. When you serve under a dad who is Pentecostal to the bone, right? But the word, he's full of the word. that transference comes. Then I've served, of course, with Pastor Jamal Bryant. He knows how to connect with any room that he goes in. I call him like a spiritual chameleon because he can just go in and
Anywhere, political,
he
secular.
can just figure it out. And so when you in traveling internationally, you learn how to talk to rooms. You learn how to connect with people and whatnot. You know, sometimes you have a 30-second rule to just connect. And so I figured it out. And now that I'm confident and comfortable with who I am as an artist, and I guess you could say as a minister of music, it's I have a moment to speak into somebody's life. And I may have 15 minutes or 30 minutes. I'm going to sing some songs, but I'm not going to be in your presence and not at least attempt to empower, to inspire, and to encourage. Those three: empower, inspire, and encourage. Those are the three things that I feel like is my assignment.
I hope y'all taking notes because this is good.
So empower, to inspire, and encourage. So through the songs, my name is Victory, Finish Strong. You should feel that empowerment in a song. The inspiration comes from maybe how we deliver the song, or the inspiration may come from just me saying something that may be word-oriented or ministry-oriented. And then you're empowered to sing these songs over yourself. So you should feel encouraged. You should feel uplifted. You shouldn't. Okay, so the gospel is the good news of Jesus Christ. But we have some issues and some problems and some struggles and whatnot. When you encounter us in ministry, you should feel uplifted. I don't want nobody to be in my presence. Like, even us, you know, off camera, you know, we laugh and we play, whatever. I don't want anybody to be in my presence and feel like a burden. You know what I mean? I always want somebody to feel change and transform. I know that really sounds churchy, but I want them to feel different after having an encounter with me. And I pray that people that will see me on stage will walk away with that same experience.
I love it. I love it. And I just want to say this publicly in closing. Jonathan really was key. Him and the Nelson family as a whole. Him, Jason, and James. But Jason and Jonathan have really deposited, and Jonathan has really taken time with me since the passing of my mother. And I just want to publicly thank you, number one, for trusting me to navigate through your career.
There's never been anything that I've ever done that
Ever.
I've been a part of.
Ever. And I want to
the Florida recording. Did you
Oh yeah, I was
with
sick.
Mel or something?
I was
Okay,
sick
all
or
right.
something.
Other
But
than
that's the
that,
one thing.
every time. And
But I was there for the release. I was there for the release. I didn't miss that. But
She's
I
never not working. Whenever
Yes,
you're doing
never
it,
not
always
working.
working. Yeah.
I'm forever employed by the Nelsons.
Come on.
But I wanted to publicly say that, and I also wanted to publicly say, please support Jonathan Nelson and the Reunion Project. It is amazing. Y'all know I don't promote if I don't like it. If it's whack, I'm going to say it's whack. But this is good music. This is good ground. Jonathan as an artist is good ground. So you definitely want to support Jonathan Nelson and Purpose, the Reunion. It's
Download it.
tell them where to get it.
Listen, wherever any digital music is sold, you can download it. I'm not really sure when this is going to air, but we do have a virtual concert that we pre-recorded, and it's up for on demand. You can go to www.jonathannelsonvirtualexperience.com, www.jonathannelsonvirtualexperience.com You have just got to experience it.
Yes.
It's Purpose at its finest. My brother Jason, Crystal Rucker, who was a part of our original recording, and then
It was amazing. They both sang. Those two songs, the one that Crystal Rucker did, Change. First of all, that Change, forget about it. It's crazy. Melvin Crispell III, he absolutely killed that song. You saw nothing but his mother, rest her soul,
Yes.
Tanisha Crispell, but it was crazy. Y'all, please go watch the virtual experience. Thank me later. But I promise you, you will not be disappointed by the album or watching the virtual experience. Jonathan, thank you for sitting down with Miss Ericka J. We're in conversations with Miss Ericka J. and the Jonathan Nelson.
In with Miss Ericka J.
Woke up feeling good, but I wanna change. I do. Nothing wrong with the old, but I need something new. Oh yeah. I jump into my car and I turn on the radio. What is this? And then I hear, let's get guaranteed winner. Don't touch the dial if you know what's good for you. I kept it right there.